You good?
Yeah.
Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van Overeten, de podcast voor mensen die houden van eten en meer willen weten erover. Vandaag zit ik in het exotische Zeebrugge in Kabayan, waar Oshin mij meeneemt naar de Filipijnen. Oshin, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks.
Oshin, we're here in Zeebrugge. You've got a Filipino restaurant. How did you end up here?
Well, it's a long story. Well, me and my husband, we used to work in the cruise ship. That's where we met. And now we have a little family and we moved here in Belgium. First, we were living in Antwerp for about 2 years. And but we were a little bit burned out of working, work home, and we don't really see each other much. And we said, okay, we moved to a quieter place and we start a little business. We see where we go. As long as we are together, we can spend time together. And for us, that's the most important thing. So now we ended up here in Zeebrugge. And it's always been a dream for us to open a Filipino store somewhere in a port. Because, as you know, we used to work on a ship. And we know what the seafarers, what they need. And they miss home. And so here in the Filipino store that we opened, they can eat the food that they've never eaten for quite a while while working in the ship.
So
And
you're curing some of that homesickness.
Yes, definitely.
So does that you've chosen Zeebrugge because of the cruise ship port?
Yes, that's one of the reason. The second reason is that my in-laws, they live in Bruges.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's close
So
by.
it's close by and they don't have to travel that far to Antwerp. It's about an hour drive every time to see us. So now we can see each other more often.
That's awesome. So the Philippines are a Southeast Asian country.
Yes.
It's probably very different in culture and temperatures than what we have here in Belgium. How easy is it for you to find all the ingredients that you need?
First of all, it is very, very difficult to find certain ingredients. If you really, really want to cook the authentic Filipino food, we tried to, as much as possible, we tried to find the ingredients in the Asian stores, and if not, we try to get what they have here in Belgium, and we are very, very versatile. We can use any ingredient and turn into the same taste. So
that's awesome. So what sets the Filipino cuisine apart from all the other Southeast Asian countries? How is it so different from the others?
It's very, very interesting cuisine actually, because unlike the other Southeast Asian countries, the flavor of a Filipino cuisine, it centers in the combination of sweet, sour, and salty. So it's always centers in that combination. It's not overpowering, like very spicy or of course it depends which region you go.
Is there a lot of differences between the regions?
Yes.
If I remember correctly, the Philippines are like a combination of over 7,500 islands.
That's true, yes. For instance, if you cook a certain dish in the Bicol region or in the Muslim region, they like to use spiciness as the base of the flavor. So, and if you go to in another region, it's a little bit sweeter. So they make use of what they have, what ingredients they have in that region. So that's very interesting.
You just said they have a Muslim region,
Yes,
and
it's true.
how
Yes.
how is the regions divided? If you would have to look at it, or
Well, the most of the time, the Muslim region is mostly in the southern part of the Philippines, but all throughout the islands, they you can find a lot of Muslim people.
so the south, is there a big difference in climate to the north, or not really?
Well, not really, but in the southern parts.
So it's not like they have completely different vegetables and fruits as compared to the north.
Well, it depends if you live in the mountain areas. You have a lot of produce. Depends on where you situated. Um, some areas are only rice fields, and like corns and grains. In mountain areas, you have more of the potatoes and a lot of cabbage and a lot of fruits. So it's really all throughout the Philippines. It's really bountiful. The land is so how do you say that? Rich.
So rich.
Yes.
I remember a story about the Philippines that involves Mexico, where a guard of the Spanish fell asleep in a castle in Manila
Yeah.
and woke up in Mexico City the next day, and nobody knew how it happened and what had happened. But it showed me that there was a presence of the Spanish in
Yes,
in the
that's
Philippines
true.
for a long time.
That's a fact. Yes, our food, Spanish. The Spaniards. They came to our country and actually colonized our country for a long time. So there's a lot of Spanish influence with the food and the tradition and the language. It's actually a big influence.
So what's one of the things that you can definitely say this is a Spanish influence? I know, for example, in Vietnam, you have the banh mi sandwich,
Yeah.
which is definitely a French
Yeah.
influence.
Yes.
How does that Spanish influence show in Filipino cuisine?
Paella, classic Spanish dish. It exists in the Philippines. I mean, we try to use the ingredients that we have to make something like that. Like they introduced a lot of Spanish food to us, and we coped with whatever ingredients we have, and we made it really tasteful and nice, and we made it our own version.
And I assume there was also a big exchange with what we call the New World, the Americas, because when I look around in the restaurant, I see corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Corn is something that was developed in what is now Mexico.
Yes.
I also see chicken adobo.
Yes.
Adobo in Mexico is usually a spice mixture that you use on the meat.
Yes.
What is that in the Philippines?
Well, as I've said, there's a lot of for many centuries, there's a lot of cooking style that we actually get from other countries like Spain and the Americans, from the Americans, from the Chinese, from Mexicans. All of these countries that came to us
They brought something
they brought
that
something-
you happily
yes.
took or
We-
took in or
we
adopted.
took in and then we made our own version of these things, and we are actually proud that it became our own tradition and food, and especially a big factor for our kitchen, Filipino kitchen. So yeah.
I would assume that you mentioned the rice fields. I would assume that the basic staple food in the Philippines is corn, rice, and potatoes. Is that correct?
Yes, we eat a lot of rice. Actually, that's our staple food, and we eat like in every
Do you also
almost.
turn it into like noodles and other things?
Yes, we make rice noodles. We make dessert from rice wine, rice vinegar, a lot of things, because it's really rice is a big
the basic starch in the diet.
Yes.
And then meat and vegetables. How does that look in a Filipino dish?
From a simple adobo, it's always paired with rice, and we make a lot of soupy things. We make soup from meat and vegetables and fish, and it's just a balance of meat, veggies, and rice.
And always with the sour, sweet, and salty flavors.
Yes, and we like to use a lot of vinegars and soy sauce in the food, because the vinegar actually it helps to prolong the life of the food, because it's in the Philippines it's very hot, so we try to keep our food longer, and not a lot of people have a refrigerator. So we try to we use a lot of vinegar and spices and soy sauce and salt to keep our food
preserve
our food. Yes,
that's very interesting, because a lot of the food and the flavors that we love today are the result of these ancient techniques to keep food, like fermentation.
Yes,
putting stuff in oils is a way to preserve food,
yes.
But now it's something that we look into for flavor as well.
Yes, it's true.
And so in the Philippines, if you've never been to a Filipino restaurant, how would you start explaining what people should try and how people should look at the menu? That's a really difficult question.
I know.
Voor de mensen thuis die gewoon luisteren, Oshin trekt hier een gezicht van holy fuck, hoe moet ik hierop gaan antwoorden?
Well, you don't really have to look at it as very complex thing, It's very, when you see a menu from a Filipino restaurant, it's simple. Most of the time you can, there's chicken in it, there's rice, or there's veggies, and there's nothing really out of the ordinary. It's just that the ingredients that we use most of the time with soy sauce, with vinegar. You don't have to be afraid of that's gonna be spicy, or because no, it's not really spicy. It's really balanced kind of flavor.
So it would be very safe for somebody that does not like spicy food. Because, for example, there's a lot of people that shy away from Thai food because they like to use their Thai chilies.
Yes, it's true. But for instance, you go to Manila, there's a lot of restaurants now that are very, adaptable with the tourist, and you don't have to be afraid of trying it.
And I would assume you also... Actually, I don't think I could assume, because your main customer is the Filipino on the cruise ships. Is that correct? Not so much the Belgian audience?
That's true, because there's a cruise terminal nearby, and then there's a lot of seafarers there that work in the cruise ship that are from the Philippines and also other Asian countries. And when they see the flag, and they recognize it, because in every port, I think there would be one for sure. There's one Filipino store, and they offer a lot of products, not only Filipino products, but also Indonesian noodles or Korean noodles. We try to be open to everybody. So, but everybody's welcome, even the Belgians, of course. It's not a closed restaurant. It's for everybody to try.
How long have you been open now?
We started second half of March, and as of the moment, it's really nice experience. We get to see a lot and we get to see and meet a lot of Filipinos, and it's nice to see them, and you can speak the language when you see them, and it just feels like home, and everybody's here.
So it's really a community feeling that you're trying to recreate with the restaurant.
Definitely.
If I would like to start cooking Filipino food at home, where do I look for what kind of basic ingredients? I would assume chicken, because you mentioned chicken a couple of times, is a really good starter. But then what?
Chicken, because you can find it in every grocery.
Exactly, it's so easy to
like
find.
seafood is in Belgium, it's limited. If you want to make a nice seafood dish, it's gonna be difficult. But chicken.
Do you really find it difficult because you're based in the Vesmain of Zeebrugge? This is where they come in with boats and fresh catch, and still you have a hard time finding good fish?
Yes, because the fishes that we know actually is, the fishes that you see from Asia, the flavor it's different. It's really different, you can find seafood here, but it's not the same flavor. No.
So it's not like you can replace a sole with a Dover sole.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a different taste. So
the seafood dishes are a bit harder to recreate.
Yes, it's.
But for example, a chicken adobo should be pretty easy then.
Yes, that's actually a very simple dish, but surprisingly very flavorful. So the base is soy sauce, vinegar, some pepper, bay leaf, and a little sugar.
Black pepper or?
Black pepper.
Some bay leaf
and some sugar, a little bit of sugar, and you have adobo. Adobo is actually like it's a way of cooking something. It's also a way of preserving something. So we like to use a lot of vinegar to it. So it's a mix of a little bit sour, a little bit salty, a little bit sweet. So it's perfect start if you wanna cook Filipino food. It's the best.
And then,
start.
What would you recommend as a vegetable dish to make at home?
A vegetable dish.
Are the vegetables easy to find?
Yes. We use a lot of vegetables. It's part of our daily.
But are they, for us at least, exotic products of the Philippines, or are they just? Are you able to find them in regular supermarkets? Because I'm drinking a mango juice here. Yeah, we can find mango in every supermarket by now.
But it's different. It's really different. I would say that's the best mangoes in the world because it's very, very sweet. You can also eat it when it's unripe. We eat it unripe. Actually, there's a sour version, really sour version of it. We can use it as a side dish, as a salad. So the vegetables in Belgium is it's quite difficult to find the vegetables.
What are some of the vegetables that you can find in the Philippines but not really here?
A lot of leafy vegetables, like kangkong or okra. That's
Okra's not really a leafy vegetable.
No,
it's
I mean green vegetables. You can't really find it here. Also malunggay. It's a kind of leafy vegetable, very, very nutritious. But in the Philippines, in my backyard, I have like a lot of leafy vegetables. It just grows somewhere out.
Because the weather is always so nice.
Yes, and you can just pick it and cook it freshly for the supper or for the meal.
Where here you would have to go to one of the specialized Asian
supermarkets. You have to go to
and
the Asians.
Hope they have it.
Yes, and the price. It's pretty expensive because you have to transport.
But if something comes from the other side of the world, it's not going to be cheap.
Yes, there you go. But yeah, if you really wanted to cook a vegetable dish, a real vegetable dish like chop suey, or if you want a soupy vegetable, it's really, really difficult.
Did you just say chop suey?
Yes.
Isn't that a Chinese thing?
Yes. But you can find it in the Philippines. It's one of our dish also.
And so, where's the difference between the Chinese version we know and the Filipino chop suey?
Oh, it's pretty much the same,
But
I
it's
would
not.
say, but it's not.
That's a very good explanation.
Um, it's pretty much the same for me, yes, because they also use a lot of fish sauce.
Mhm.
We use it to flavor our chop suey and a lot of dishes. So if you go to a Chinese restaurant now, I would say that's how also a Filipino would
That's interesting.
cook it. Yes,
It's actually really interesting.
yes.
And so the chicken lays a lot of eggs. What's your egg dishes in the Philippines?
Oh, egg dishes.
Or do you not really use the eggs?
We use eggs, but we eat it as like a sunny side up for breakfast. We do a lot of desserts with eggs, but as
Like pastry style?
Yes.
Like the French style of pastry, or
no,
completely different?
no,
More like
completely.
Portuguese influence, Spanish influence, I
Um,
guess?
We make leche flan. It's like Spanish
It's a
name.
milk flan?
Yes, we use it as for leche flan. It's one of the ingredients for halo halo. It's a, it's a typical Filipino dessert.
Halo halo. Isn't that a type of ice cream, kind of?
Well, there's a ice cream flavored halo halo, but the real halo halo thing is a completely different dessert.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of ingredients in it with shaved ice, with
So there is some
milk.
ice in there. There's something cool. I remember hearing about halo halo in a podcast a long time ago.
Yes, it's
That's why it rang a bell. Like, that's some ice cream thing.
well, there's an ice cream in it most of the time. They serve ube ice cream. It's purple yam flavor, and
Purple yam is one of those root vegetables.
they say it's kind of like a sweet potato family, but it's purple, and so it's in Tagalog, in the Philippines we call it ube, and we use it a lot for dessert, and because it has a very sweet flavor. So
you've got ube in there. You've got some ice in there.
you got leche flan in there. You have some coconut, young coconut makapuno. You have some sweetened beans, sweetened bananas, coconut gel, nata de coco, jackfruit, sweetened jackfruit, and sugar, and a lot of things. Actually,
Sounds like a delicious combination, though.
yes, but most of the time when people see it for the first time, they're like, "That's a weird color because it's purple." Like here, they're like, "Why would I eat in purple ice cream?" Like,
Funny thing, though, we used to have carrots that were purple before the orange carrot was invented. So
I've seen one.
yeah, now
seen
they're
one.
coming back in supermarkets. But
Yeah, it's pretty.
some of our root vegetables used to be purple as well. Even if you cut down some trees, there's some purple in some of the roots.
Interesting. I've
Absolutely.
tried the
so
purple apple carrots. They're very nice.
They
Very
taste
nice.
like carrots.
Yeah, but they're purple. But when you plate something with it, it's really pretty. It's really nice.
And so now we've gone through some of the options in a Filipino menu. You've
Mhm.
got some rice, chicken adobo.
Yeah.
You use some of the vegetables, the green vegetables,
Yeah.
with it, and then you finish it off with a halo halo.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't the Philippines also a country of a lot of street food?
Yes, that's true. Yes, you can actually eat out all the time. We like to eat. We always eat. It's part of our culture.
What's
Like-
some of the favorite or the best known street food dishes that you would find?
Depends. If you want meat, there's barbecues. But there's barbecues, and there are internal part of
Like the offal, like livers and
yes,
kidneys.
you
and
can find a lot of those in the street. We have like fish balls, quack quack, like quail eggs, fried, coated with some flour and everything. You have the halo halo you can find all the time in the street. So
Because it's so warm and the ice in there cools you
yes,
down.
during the summer that's the halo halo season. Now it's the rainy season starts in the Philippines. It's it's rainy season.
There's also something that I'm very curious about
Mhm.
that is typically Filipino.
Mhm.
Balut.
Ah, yeah,
Can you tell me more about that?
that is a an egg. It's one of the exotic food from the Philippines. That an exotic street food in the Philippines. It's
So it's mainly street food, balut?
yes, but now in the modern restaurant, they really serve it like you know, an exotic dish, but they serve it in restaurants. You can find it there.
Can you describe to everybody what it actually is?
It's actually difficult to describe. So it's an egg from a duck that they sorry,
That has been fertilized,
that has been fertilized. Yes,
and the duck's been growing in it for how
for
long?
For 3 weeks, and they steam it, and for some time, and when you eat it, there's a little bit of soup and a little bit of the duck in it. But there are some types of balot that there's no duck.
There's no duck, so
Yeah.
it's just an egg, or
Yes,
so it's just a duck egg then.
yes, but there's a certain flavor to it because they actually use salt to put the eggs, and then when they sell it on the street, it's warm, and when you drink the soup and eat the egg, it's flavorful.
Mm-hmm. And so the duck, it develops into a little duckling,
Yes.
but not quite. How do you deal with the beak and the legs and the bones? Do you take the meat off? What about the feathers?
You just suck it and eat it all together at the same time.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, it does. Yes.
But it's a popular thing, or is it also becoming more and more of a thing of the past?
No, it's popular until now. It's we are proud to eat it, and we're proud to share it to a tourist or a foreigner that comes to our country to try it, because it's part of our culture.
Okay, because I always figured that when you show it to foreigners, it's more of a thing like, hey, we're daring you to try this, and it's not really a thing that you eat, but you would, if you could find it tomorrow, you would go out and buy one.
Definitely, yes.
Oh, it's that tasty.
Yes.
So it only looks a bit scary.
It looks scary, but in the end, it's always about the flavor. If you don't mind to look at it.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Oshin, I want to thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Where can people find you in Zeebrugge?
We are here in Vismenstraat 53 in Zeebrugge by the harbor. So
When are you open?
we are open from 10 till 6, from Wednesday till Sunday.
All right, that's amazing. Can people find you online?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, Kabayan INC, Kabayan INC, and Instagram Kabayan_BE.
All right, fantastic. Thanks again so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking about it. I'm proud to talk about the Filipino cuisine. It's really, really interesting. And thank you for
You're welcome.
being interested.
Absolutely interested. I always want to know more about food, and I'm pretty sure other people are as well. Dat was het voor deze week. Dankjewel voor het luisteren. Vergeet niet om te liken en een review na te laten. En dan horen we elkaar volgende week opnieuw. Tot hoors. Dit was Overeten, een podcast over eten. Voor meer informatie, show notes, foto's, behind the scenes en meer, bezoek ons op www.overetenpodcast.be.